Hey guys, Michael the DC Multiverse Collector here, bringing you my top 10 DC Multiverse figures of 2023. It's been a year of highs, a year of lows, but I'm here to celebrate the highs today, and it should be a lot of fun. Now this is just my subjective list, so if you disagree, that's great. Let me know respectfully in the comments, and we'll have a chat about it. That's what these videos are for. Secondly, only figures that were released in Australia in the year 2023 are eligible. So those of you in the United States who are getting Captain Carrot in December, lucky you, but he's not eligible for this year's list. Maybe next year. It's also worth noting that I'm going to be counting the DC Direct page punches in this list. They're produced by McFarlane, they're the same scale and style, and I think they're eligible, and it's my list, so I'll do what I want. So bear that in mind. Now, I would ask if you find this video entertaining, interesting, give this video a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I've always got lots of fun videos coming out, so stick around, you might see something you like. Finally, you should stick around to the end of the video, where I will be announcing a competition, or giveaway I should say, for one lucky subscriber to win a gift voucher from Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how to win. So without any further ado, let's get stuck into my top 10 figures in DC Multiverse for the year 2023. So, my 10th best figure of 2023 is Flashpoint Flash. Now, this is from the Flashpoint Build-A-Figure wave, which was a Target exclusive in the United States, didn't get released in Australia, was a nightmare to track down. My good buddy Nick in the United States sent me this figure, and boy am I glad he did, because he is awesome. So, despite the fact that this is just a reuse of the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle body buck, it's a really, really great reuse. It's perfect physique for the Flash. He's sort of athletic, but still muscular. You know, they've made some really, really good changes to the sculpt to make it fit. I really love those yellow boots with the wingtips. I really, really love the diaper piece, which has the sort of sculpted belt with the lightning symbol. I think the painted lightning symbol on the chest looks pretty good. I know the Rebirth version had a sculpted look, but this has a more sort of classic look. It kind of reminds me of a DC Icons or DC Essentials figure in a really good way. I think the head sculpt is absolutely tremendous. It came with an alternate Barry Allen head sculpt, which was equally great. So on the whole, I'm loving the retro classic no frills aesthetic of this figure. I think it's just a winner overall. It's probably the best Flash figure that McFarlane's released. Rebirth is up there too, but you know, if you missed out on that one, this is the one to get. Coming in at number 9 for 2023 is the Mega Figure Justice Buster. Now, I wasn't actually looking forward to that Mega Figure all this much when it was announced. I mean, did I really need a Justice League killing Batman mech? I didn't think so, but then I imported this guy at great cost, and when I got him in the hand, I found out he was totally worth it, and I loved it. So first off, this is just a big, chunky boy. I'm a sucker for a mega figure. This one is sort of in the great mega figure tradition, huge, has great shelf presence. And it just really stands out in a display. It's got excellent sculpted detail from head to toe, like just immaculate, and a decent smattering of paint. I think customizers could really bring out the sculpt with an extra lick of a wash here and there, but for what it is, out of the box, this is one of the most enjoyable, fun, big boy figures of the year, and it's a great example of why McFarlane DC Multiverse is such a fun line to collect. You get these big, awesome figures. They're not that much more expensive, maybe double the cost of a regular figure, and you know, they're just this great, big, fun thing. So easily worthy of number 9. Coming in at number 8 for 2023 is Injustice 2 Brainiac. Now, I'm actually more of a comic figure guy myself. I'm not into the game figures as much, but when I saw them announce this guy and show the initial photos, I was blown away. The quality of the sculpt on this figure is mind-blowingly good. It probably is one of the best sculpts of the year in terms of the detail. It's actually mind-blowing for just a standard release figure. Forget the collector edition line, like this is sort of the most premium feeling standard figure of the year. He's massive. he towers over other figures by, half an inch. The head sculpt is really, really detailed. The line work is great. There's sort of a grungy wash all over him to bring the details to life. He's just a really fun Brainiac that we've needed in the line for so long, and McFarlane delivered in a big way. The only minor disappointment of this guy is that his tentacles aren't bendy. They are just static. You kind of just have to fluff them around until they look good. Had I gotten bendy tentacles, this probably would have been the top figure of 2023, but as it is, he's an easy number 8. Coming in at number 7 is the collector edition Sinestro. Now, I reviewed this figure on the channel very, very recently, and I was very positive on it. Despite the fact that it's largely a reuse of the Kyle Rayner figure, I think the new parts that they did add in that torso region and that head sculpt are really, really great. I think the colours are awesome. That sort of metallic sheen on the yellow really gives it a premium feel. He came with good accessories, the lantern, the construct. I think the head sculpt, while maybe subjectively you could argue the expression could be a bit more interesting, technically speaking, in terms of the sculpt and the paintwork, it is beautiful. And I love the way the pink and the yellow sort of complement each other. I mean, that's a hallmark of the original character design, but it's beautifully recreated in figure form. And like the other Green Lantern figures that McFarlane's been releasing lately, it's got a great texture in the suit that saves it from being just solid black plastic. So this one is a winner. He's a classic rogue. We finally got him, and he's close to perfection, and definitely worthy of number 7 for 2023. Coming in at number 6 is the collector edition Hawkman. Now, this is the platinum chase variant that I've got here on the display stand, but I think the standard edition in the 0 hour colors would also merit a very high spot on this list. As it is, this version of Hawkman I think is just a terrific figure. I love the classic color scheme, and not only that, the sculpt is amazing. The boots are sort of they've got great sort of lines and creases in them. I think there's really great detail in the chest and the abdominals. The head sculpt has all those feathered details, and the wings, despite being a carryover from a Spawn figure, are just a really great set of wings. Carefully sculpted, beautifully painted. I think the whole thing just pops. Is it a perfect classic Hawkman? No. He could still release a classic Hawkman at some stage and I would buy it, but for what it is, this is one of the most sort of eye-catching, eye-popping and beautiful figures of 2023 in this line, and I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 5 is the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle from the Blue Beetle film. Now, the figure you see in front of you is the battle mode Blue Beetle, which came with wings and the sort of mandibles that pop up over his shoulders. I think this is the better version of the two figures, but I think no matter which way you went on those two variants, you can't lose. This is an incredible figure. Now, the movie may have bombed. I thought it was a fun movie for what it's worth, but this figure, I don't know whether it bombed. It probably did, given the success of the film, but it's one of the best figures of the year, hands down. McFarlane went all out with this sculpt. He went all out with the paint. It's just beautifully detailed from top to bottom. It looks great on the shelf. It can pass for a comic version of Jaime Reyes if you really want it to, but even if you just want it as a souvenir from the movie, it's perfect. I just don't know that he could have improved on it much more. The only thing maybe he could have done is given us more articulated wings that you can pose up and down, and maybe if the wings were detachable from the mandibles so you could display it one or the other, that would have been nice. But looking at what we actually did get, it's hard to see how McFarlane could have delivered any more or any harder on this Blue Beetle figure, and that's why he's an easy number 5 for 2023. Coming in at number 4 is the Page Puncher's Black Manta. I love this figure. I loved him when I first opened him earlier this year, and my love for him has not really diminished in the months since. This figure, McFarlane can sell the collector edition line all they want. This figure is sort of what I would want from that line. The sculpt is unique from top to bottom. There's not a single reused part on this guy. He came with awesome accessories. The paint, for what it's worth, is cleanly and nicely applied. There's really nothing to complain about in terms of this figure. The design is sort of a modern iteration of Black Manta. There were 2 Black Manta figures released this year, by the way. There was the Aquaman 2 one, which is a fine figure, but nothing comes close to the complete package of this figure. If you haven't picked him up, don't sleep on him. Grab him before he becomes hard to find. Page Puncher's Black Manta, shoe-in at number 4 for 2023. Coming in at number 3 is the Collector Edition Abyss. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be saying, who the hell is Abyss and who cares? Well, let me tell you, I don't really know who Abyss is. I know he's a very recent Batman villain introduced very recently in the modern comics. He has sort of a, fairly modern comic backstory in that it's convoluted and weird and doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I do not care. This figure rocks. It's a completely new figure from top to bottom, which I always love. There's not a reused part on him. The sculpt is incredibly detailed all over. He's got really sort of outlandish proportions with that elongated torso. I've seen people criticize the figure for that, but I think they're nuts. I think the weird, strange, lanky arms and legs of this guy make him so interesting and visually distinct on a shelf. I love getting a Batman villain that's sort of obscure or niche. That's kind of my bag. The weird C-list, D-list Batman villains, and a brand new Batman villain that we've never had in figure form. For me, all of those factors make this just an incredible figure. Don't sleep on this one, okay? Like, you're going to regret it. We may never get an Abyss figure again, or it could be another decade before we get an Abyss figure. You don't know if the character's going to become more prominent in the comics. He might be in a movie someday and take off. I think this is a figure you should not sleep on, okay? He's not as immediately recognizable as some of the others, but he's an awesome figure with a great accessory in the scythe that comes apart. He's got the really amazing sort of rib cage sculpt on his chest, the freaky like claw-like hands, and even his head sculpt. It's kind of very simple, but it's got like a sheen of paint on it, and the eyes sort of look like they're glowing. McFarlane, thank you so much for this figure. I love it. Maybe no one else does, but for me, this is an easy number 3 for the year. Coming in at number 2 for 2023 is a figure I did not see coming, and that is Poison Ivy from the Batman and Robin Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure wave. Now, when they announced this, I was kind of on the one hand excited. Wow, Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, Uma Thurman, that's crazy. But on the other hand, I was like, are you for real? Our first Poison Ivy figure in this line, a character we've wanted for years, is going to be Uma Thurman from the 1997 Joel Schumacher magnum opus, Batman and Robin. Are you serious, Todd? Are you joking? But then I got the figure in hand, and it blew me away. It honestly blew me away. The biggest drawback of this figure is that she just doesn't come with any unique accessories like plant vines or effects or anything like that. That's probably the biggest weakness. But if you actually look at the figure itself, it's so good. It articulates really well. The sculpt is immaculate. That body piece with all the sculpted leaves is beautiful in hand. The facial detail is lovely. It's a really good likeness for Uma Thurman, but it's not so photorealistic that she won't look good in a comic-based display. So I would say to you, if you've been on the lookout for a Poison Ivy, don't sleep on this one. She looks great with the other Bat Rogues. And until we get a comic version, she's awesome. The paint is awesome. Look at the paint on her legs that goes sort of tapers down into that black boots, and the sort of ivy and vine detail on her upper leg, the little sort of leaf on the palm of her hand. A lot of love and money and attention went into this figure, and it shows. Poison Ivy is great. It just shows that when Todd gives a female figure the love, care, and attention she deserves, fans will respond. At least that's what I would like to think. So if you want more female figures in the line, please go out and buy this figure and send a signal to McFarlane Toys that the female characters in the DC universe are just as awesome as the male characters. We will buy them if you put them out and execute them at this high level. So yeah, Poison Ivy, my number 2 figure of 2023. And my top figure of 2023 in the DC Multiverse line is Catman. This is not a joke. I know you're thinking this is a joke and I'm going to cut away and show you my real top figure, but I'm not going to do that because this is my top figure of 2023. Before you sort of unsubscribe and delete me from your YouTube forever, let me explain. First, I'm a sucker for an obscure Batman villain, and Catman is about as obscure and silly and like dumb as you could hope for. You know, he's up there with the Condiment Kings and the Polka Dot Mans for sort of laughable bad guys. You know, he's not Catwoman, he's Catman. You know, it's so dumb, right? And if you read up on his backstory, it's even more dumb. Even though he's been the subject of some really good modern stories, I still think this guy's kind of stupid. But the figure is like a perfect execution on that concept. I love the cloth cape. Controversial, I know. I think it gives this guy like a presence, a shelf presence. It allows you to pose him in some really fun ways. So I love the cloth cape. He came with an awesome array of accessories. He came with like little knives that go into the sheaths on his back. He came with the clawed hands, which actually have the claws sculpted into the hands so they don't sort of flop around. They look really, really nice. The sculpt is incredible. He's a reuse of the Nightfall body, but I think it's a really, really smart reuse. And this is the version of that buck that I enjoyed more this year. The Nightfall Batman came with like quite a rigid cape that inhibited a lot of the posability. This guy, not so much. You can do what you want because of that beautiful cloth cape. The head sculpt's good. It's cartoony, you know, but it bridges that sort of realistic, cartoony divide. So you can sort of use him in any sort of setup you like. He fits in with the more realistic looking figures quite well. I just really love the classic design. I think this year Todd has really delivered on the more classic looks for characters. He's done it with a lot of characters, like he released the Riddler in his classic costume. You know, he released Nightfall Batman. I just think this year you can kind of see the emphasis on more classic designs. It's what we've all been clamoring for. You know, we love the Dark Knight's death metal stuff, and you know, that's all fantastic. It's great to have that. But some of us just want, in addition to that, more classic looking characters. And I think Catman is a great example of that. Not too complicated, but still a lot of detail. You know, this isn't like a Hasbro job where it's just like a bare body buck with nothing going on. There is a lot going on here with the sculpt, with the paint. It's just really tasteful and really simple. And I think I would love to see more along these lines in 2024. It's a shame this guy was a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. I kind of get it, limited appeal. But if you haven't got this figure, and if there's any way for you to get this figure, I highly encourage you to do so. Catman figures don't come along all that often, and I think he's one of the most fun figures of 2023. He's my personal favorite. He made me smile the most. So Catman, unbelievably, paradoxically, unpredictably, my top DC Multiverse figure for 2023. So I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list of 2023. I would love to know what your top figures of the year are. In fact, that's going to be the backbone of an exciting subscriber giveaway. To win a $100 gift card to Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles, which is open to all international customers as well, all you need to do is be a subscriber to the channel and leave me a comment of 100 words or less telling me what is your favourite DC Multiverse figure of 2023. The most interesting, insightful, or passionate entry will win a gift card, $100, can spend on anything you like, and I will be drawing winners early in the new year. Let's say the 1st of January. So get those entries in by the 1st of January, let me know your favourite figures, and let me nominate the most creative, insightful, or passionate entry as the winner of a $100 gift card to Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. I will leave the link to that store, fantastic store, in the description of this video. Until next time, happy collecting, and thank you so much for watching. See you in 2024. This video was brought to you with the support of Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. For a great range of toys from DC Multiverse to Black Series to Marvel Legends, Hot Toys and more, visit Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles and use the offer code DCDUDE. That's DCDUDE for an exclusive discount month to month. Could be 5% off or $5 off at checkout. Try the code, see what you get, place an order with Fett's, and you won't be disappointed. And we thank Fett's for their continued support of this channel.